So we tried this concept last week out in Italy. Didn't really go to plan then, but let's give it another go. Hello everyone and welcome to round 8 of the NEF1 Season 7 Championship around a very wet Hungaroring here. It is Monaco without walls. It is heavy rain conditions. We talked about this before the race, that it could be a crazy one if rain did indeed fall. And my goodness, it's hammering down on this circuit at the moment, located in the middle of Europe. And as I called it before, Monaco without walls, it could be a tricky one because it really isn't Monaco without walls. This is an extremely flowing circuit, relatively fast circuit as well, with relatively hard braking zones every now and again. So it's going to be tricky to control your cars in these situations. It's not actually heavy wet conditions. It's intermediate conditions going on, or intermediate tires going on every single car out there at the moment. No Larks first out on track here, along with JV8, ABT, Patrang, and Matty coming out as well. Along the Ferrari of, I believe that's Djokovic coming out of pit lane relatively early. Once again then, hello and welcome back to NEF1 after 1 week. After 1 week hiatus after Italy, we're back in Hungary for the second to last race before the mid-season break. A calendar that has been slightly altered because gone from this year's calendar is Austria next week. It has been replaced with Albert Park and Australia. So that is the racing action that you're going to get next week out here in NEF1. But for now, we got Q1, Q2, and Q3 coming up in NEF1 here around Hungary, followed by I believe it's a 35-lap race to the flag here. It's gonna be a tough one. This. Everyone's saying it might be a chaotic qualifying, and Danny even going as far as saying it can't be asked with this weather. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough one, but the championship is really starting to set now. Everyone has got to be on their absolute A game in order to solidify a good result in this year's championship standings. Talking about good results as well, Ondrejek currently in the Alpine, still racing as a reserve, got a very good result last weekend, outscoring 33 points in total, I believe. Out of a possible 30, I said 36 points that's available on the sprint weekend, or 34 points that's available on the sprint weekend. So brilliant race that from Ondrejek, who grabbed the win in the Grand Prix, got a P2 in the sprint as well. So almost top honors for Ondrejek, who now is back here in the Alpine in Hungary. So let's see what he's going to be able to do on his second outing back in NEF1. No Larks going through Sector 3 at the moment, or heading in Sector 3, sorry. So what is he going to be able to do in wet conditions here? And this is a piece of track that could be incredibly tricky in wet conditions. Just get the power down coming out of these corners. You're going to be having to wait so long. And you can see how No Larks is just impatient on that for wanting to get on it, but if you do get on it too early, you will be sent straight into Narnia. We're going to have a fast lap time here, still a relatively quick lap of 1:30 exactly. It's been a while since we had something like that, and I believe it's the first time in any F1 history we have a 1:30 exactly. Sadly, ABT ruins that with a 1:29.747. Decent lap that from the Canadian. Patarang 1:31.402, and Matty goes quicker than BT by about 4 tenths. 1:29.363. That's a good lap, that. Darren Style recently announcing that he's going to be racing this evening, actually. Was a bit unsure, as last night this man once again became a father. Congratulations to Darren Style and his missus. Absolutely brilliant news. Congratulations from all of us in NEF1, the admin team, and I'm sure the viewers as well. Hope it's all going to go well, and hope you're going to do well tonight. Bit of a lucky charm, maybe. Who knows? Team of dads then with Red Bull, both him and Wigan 71. Obviously Wigan in a slightly higher age group, along with his son, who's racing here tonight. Actually, that is Djokovic, currently sitting in P12 on an outlap. at the moment, and he is leading the championship. But that lead took a blow in Monza last week out, and Nassi is regaining the advantage that he lost early on in the season. Undercheck now out on the lap as well in that Alpine. So we go, Matty is leading, Squid BT, No Larks, and Iwatts has gotten a good lap in on a 1:30.284. I say that as it would be a little bit of a surprise. He's on a pad in wet conditions at a track which is incredibly technical. Which, hats off to Iwatts, that is a really good time actually. And then Hybrid, not really getting good time together. It's a 1:30.793. He's not going to be overly happy with that one. Ondrejek Van heading into Sector 3. Is he going to go straight aboard the top of the timetable? He has a tendency to do so, apparently. So let's see if he's going to be able to do it yet again. Trifix, Djokovic, and Danny all out hunting for time as well. I believe Trifix is approaching the line now, maybe. Ondrejek, is he going to go quick as out of anyone? Yes, he is, and by a margin as well. It's a 28.724 for Ondrejek. Takes command of this session. Trifix has invalidated his lap. He'll have to go again, along with Djokovic and Danny are out on track. Neither of them have invalidated. Should probably specify that. And Danny's coming up to that very tricky last couple of corners, last 3 corners. As round the final bend then, pit lane there on the inside, no DRS enabled as we're in wet conditions. Decent lap from Danny, puts him up into P3. 129.506, yellow flags ahead, that's an incident in turn 1. I believe it's just a Red Bull going slowly. No, it's a Red Bull who spun across the track, and is that Darren Style? Yes it is, manages to get it out of there. Now, Djokovic goes second quickest. Oh, just a couple of hundredths of a second behind Ondrejek there. Got a little bit carried away with the Red Bull stationary by the side of the track there. Forgot to go on board with Djokovic. But that is him nice and safely through into Q2, which is all that matters at the moment. Right now, the driver out of Q2 is Trifix, eliminated by his teammate at the moment, JV8, who's sitting in P15. So then, wet conditions isn't what anyone was going to be hoping for this race, especially not around this track. See if we can maybe get some rain for Saudi Arabia this season. That'd be quite something, wouldn't it? Maybe some artificial rain around Saudi Arabia. Who knows? Trifix is going to come across line 33.997, almost a 34. Nowhere near good enough. Needs to find 2 seconds to match his teammate. Tall order for Trifix. As JV8 has ventured into a career of landscaping instead of Formula 1 driving, he's off cutting the grass in the world's most expensive and maybe even world's slowest lawnmower that has. At least it was the real life car. Obviously, all cars in NEF1 are equal, and Trifix is out of qualifying here after an incident with the wall, I'm sure. Early on, we're gonna see, yeah, smash the wall coming out of the corner, just getting a bit too throttle happy probably, and smashing into the wall on the inside, bouncing back on track. That is Trifix out, and that is qualifying drama over for Q1 really now. Just really a practice session, but no one else can be eliminated from this session. Then Trifix is going to be starting last on the grid, and JV8 is nice and safely through into Q2. So that was a quick way to end any sort of excitement in Q1. It was always going to be a bit of a lame session, this, seeing how only one car was going to be eliminated, but I didn't think it would end quite that abruptly. But every now and again you do get a surprise. Bit of a shame that for Trifix, but we'll see him again for the Grand Prix. And if it does rain during the Grand Prix, might not be the worst place to start the race in. We're on board with Matty MC even coming around the final couple of corners. BT has improved up to 128.824, so they're starting to get closer to Undercheck. BT exactly 1/10 behind Undercheck. Djokovic a little less than half a tenth. Matty, improves past Djokovic, not quite close enough to Undercheck to match. But basically exactly half a tenth, and Djokovic improves past Undercheck by about a tenth and a half. JV8's retired from the session, I believe, in the pit lane. Yes, he has. We'll see him again for the next session. But Djokovic is showing some strong pace here in wet conditions as well, at a track which does on paper really suit him. We are missing Nazi 31 at the moment, sitting in P8. Not really seeing anything from him as of now. We're getting reports from BT as well, Nazi's teammate, that the Grand Prix is going to be ran in dry conditions. So that's going to be nice for the drivers. However, I don't think I'd mind a wet Grand Prix here. I think you could really spice things up at a circuit where it is traditionally quite hard to overtake. We'll wait and see how the race unfolds. Hungary has put up rather decent races in NEF1 in the past. Nazi now, see if he can really show a glimmer of pace here. Really needs to in order to solidify his championship challenge. Remember, we're closing into the halfway stage of the season now. Nazi, Djokovic and Matty at the moment, key players in that championship fight. Matty's gone fastest out of anyone past Djokovic at 128.499, and is that a sign maybe of the track conditions improving a little bit? And if that's the case, I'm going to see Undercheck out again. We don't have to see anyone out again realistically. They'll all go through, but a racing driver always wants to finish first. Squidge 2017, 28.754. Very close to Undercheck's 724. 300ths of a second behind. Do believe track conditions are improving just that little bit. Padrang getting very stuck on the curb there on the outside, heading into the middle part of the second sector just after the chicane. Ooh, aggressive on the cabs here is Padrang. I'm not sure that's quite the way to approach this circuit. But obviously they'll have done more practice than I have around here. This is actually one of the few tracks that I've league raced on this game. Does actually league race quite nice. Then again, it's a tricky track to get right. Joy to do a qualifying lap on. Here we go then, Padrang 130.213 doesn't improve and stays P9. Once again at the moment doesn't really have to improve. Iwat's going through the second sector and about to head into the third sector. Flat through the left-hander, slight break into the sweeping right-hander before sector 2 ends. And just a tenth slower than his previous best. Before we're heading into the final two corners. So we go over to Iwatts round the final corner. Is it going to be able to carry a bit of momentum through and maybe a bit of an improvement? No. Stays 12th fastest. Darren Style just beginning a lap here. Improving by over half a second. Okay, so I believe we can say that the dry line is now really beginning to form, and they are finding time out there. In a situation right now that we could see Darren on provisional P1, which would be a really nice way to end the session if it could stay like that. A full second's worth of improvement at the moment. Oh, it just locks up a little bit into the last corner. Locks up, just goes a little bit deep, and that is going to ruin any momentum he had heading into the final sector. And I'm afraid That probably is going to be lap gone for Darren Style. Any chance of being on P1 is going to be gone at least. And any chance of improving. But might be able to go again actually. With warm tyres as well, if he's fueled for it. But in a wet qualifying session like this, you really want to be fueled for a couple of laps. Burn that fuel off and wear those tyres down a little bit. Get the temperature into them. Nassi, is he going to be able to go fastest out of anyone? No, he's not. He's struggling in these conditions, Nassi 31. Not seemingly really enjoying them. 29.337 is his best time. Not quite a full second slower than Matty MC, but not far off. And as everyone else is improving on intermediate tires, BT has decided, now I'm going to be a bit special and I'm going to go out on wet tires. Because why not? And just humour me for a second. Imagine if BT managed to find himself a nice big wall late here in Q1 and wasn't able to participate in Q2 because of it. I have a feeling he'd feel quite silly. So why would you really risk going out again, and really especially on wet tires? Djokovic is out again. Oh, come on, Djokovic. To be fair, I do like that from the Ferrari man. He has a need to be top every single session. But it could cost him dear. It could cost him dear. Darren Style is improving. Up to P9, 29.727. Watts heading into the pit lane. Hybrid 472K then. This could have actually been really interesting if we had a chance for anyone to still go out of qualifying on pace here. With the track conditions just improving a little bit. We have less than a minute remaining. It's been a very, very calm beginning to this qualifying session so far, but it is going to ramp up now as we're getting into Q2. Hybrid just improves by a couple attempts, knocks Samo down to P14. Samo, who is going out there to try to start another flying lap perhaps. There's really no need to. The only thing he'd be risking is terminal damage. As Djokovic at the moment is out and he is improving. And he's not going to allow Matty to... he's just not going to allow Matty to have Q1. I think is the intent from Djokovic here. He has said, no, I'm going to be fastest. I'm going to be faster than you in Q1, Q2 and Q3 and in the Grand Prix. And nope, just fails to do so by 0.006 of a second actually. Matty is fastest in Q1, followed by Djokovic and Ondrejek, but it's close between the two. Matty, 0.006 of a second ahead of Djokovic. Ondrejek 2 tenths behind Djokovic there. But quite a bit of track evolution coming into its own here at the end. Samo Obama not going to be the last guy to get a flying lap in as well when the track conditions are at their best in this session. So now see if he's going to be able to put in a lap that's going to maybe shock a couple of people. Maybe just scare them a little bit for Q2. Seven and a half temps up on his time. Now through the last couple of corners then we're getting that weird kind of, not a decent glitch, sorry, that weird engine noise glitch again. And Samo goes up in a P9 with that effort for the last lap of this session, 29.659, and it goes up in a P9, pushes down to P10, Padarang down outside the top 10. That is a lesson they're gonna have to learn for Q2. Track evolution could play a massive factor. You have to be out there as late as possible, especially if it's raining. 6 thousandths of a second separate Matti and Djokovic, then another 2 attempts down to Ondrzejczyk and Squidge, close between the two, not far behind a BT as well. Danny, about half a second behind, then it's a bit of a gap down to Nasty, didn't really quite nail this session. No Lark, Samabamo, Darren Stahl make up the top 10, followed by Patarang, Wigan, Iwatts, Hybrid and JV8. Trifex is the only driver we lost this session through terminal damage, but when that damage happened, he was lost on pace regardless. So then lads, it's time for Q2. The track conditions are not looking any better than they were a couple of seconds ago for Q1. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing this. Now it's proper competitive running here. Samabama will need an invite. Just bear with me for a moment here. This is going to be entertaining content. There we go. There we go. One of the many joys of crossplay, people can't join the lobbies themselves. They have to be actively invited. As Matty at the moment is saying the conditions are looking worse, which is potentially going to be a problem for them. We'll have to wait and see. So then, 6 thousandths of a second between Matti and Djokovic in the first stage of qualifying now. Reckon both of them are probably going to go through. I'd be shocked if either of them go out. But who's going to be able to cement themselves as a favourite for pole position? Is it going to be Matti? Is it going to be Djokovic? Or is it going to be Ondrzejczyk? At the moment, Nassi's looking like he's having a bit of a rougher weekend. But the weekend has just gotten underway. We're about 20 minutes into this session. So anything can still happen. We still have a little bit of a dry line from Q1, hasn't rained away entirely. Obviously, for those of you who were with us in Italy, we had such a rainstorm during the Italian Grand Prix sprint that the first 5 laps of that race took place under safety car simply because of weather. As soon as the checkered flag, as soon as the green flag dropped and the lights went out to go racing, we had the safety car come out of the pit lane on the very first meters worth of the Grand Prix. So it was an interesting situation. It was a really interesting situation. Now, who's going to start their flying lap first? I believe it's going to be none other than No Larks or Matty MC. Matty MC, actually. Here we go then. In that AlphaTauri that really does seem to be working for him, really. Obviously picked that car due to a PF1 throwback for those of you who've been with us for that long. This is the car and the team that he won the PF1 championship in a long time ago, back in 2021, I want to say. 2020 or 2021, I can't quite remember when the championship was settled. So now opting on this on the last chance to race for AlphaTauri in NEF1, opted to go for it, and it's working out for him so far. An active championship contention. We'll have a look at that championship standing in a little bit of time. At the moment, Djokovic might be on his way to second straight and third in total, though. Here we go, Matted across the line. 128.481. No Larks is going to follow him through. full second and a half slower. Squidge, full second slower than Matty. Danny goes faster than Matty by about 2/10 of a second. Undercheck goes faster than Danny by exactly 1/10 of a second. BT 28.608, followed by Padarang on a 28.990. Both Red Bulls are approaching the line. Darren on an invalidated lap. Wigan, though, on a competitive run. And he's going to be able to go up in a P6 ahead of Squidge and No Larks 29.349. Nassi ran round the final corner. Here we go. Nassi 31 is approaching the line, and now we're starting to recognize Nassi 31. Goes up to P3, 28.456, and Matty quickly surpasses that actually with a 28.308. So just a bit of an improvement. Nassi edging out his teammate at the moment though, which is what he needs to do. Still waiting for a lap time and emergence actually from Djokovic. Darren at the moment out hunting for his first time of the session. He has his teammates 29.3 to beat. Round the final corner, a nice apex from Darren, drifts wide on the exit. Nice curb, just using up a little bit of grip there, but it's not going to be a good lap. 132.814 for Darren Stahl, only good enough for P10 and won't see him through into Q3. Who do we have next then? Hybrid 472K. Had a good start to the season. Let's see how good he is in the rain. Djokovic, very good in the rain, currently out on an outlap. Samabamo and Iwatts, not one to get wet at the moment, are still in the pits. Ooh, bit of a moment coming out of the sweeping right hand of F4 Hybrid. Managed to sort that nicely, actually. Undercheck then in the lead of this session. This is an Alpine getting out of the way. That would be Undercheck. As round goes Hybrid, the final corner, and what's he going to be able to do? It's going to be a 129.294. Good enough for P8, just behind his teammate by 0.3 of a second. And now then, Djokovic starting his first flying lap of the session. His teammates done a 128.242. Djokovic very close to edging out Matty for top on us in Q1. Here we go, then round the chicane, round the double kind of sweeping chicane. Matty's gone fastest and by a margin, 27.841. And now let's see if Djokovic's going to be able to respond to Matty. Keep in mind, these two relatively close together in the championship. Matty very much in with a chance to fight for this one, but he needs to start outscoring Djokovic regularly. And I say that as if it would just be something to do. It's quite hard to outscore Djokovic at the moment. But here we go, Djokovic goes across the line and goes fast out of anyone by about a tenth of a second quicker than Matty MC. Under checkout as well. See if he's going to be able to find anything. 6 minutes to go. We're still waiting for times from Samo and Ibots. As into the chicane with a... that's a very high speed through the chicane there from the check. Looks like he can get straight onto the power coming out of the corners, which is obviously going to help him a massive ton. Doesn't really get any wheel spin as well. It's a setup that's looking very adapted to wet conditions. So here we go, and round the final corner with Ondrejek. What is he going to be able to do in the Alpine? Substituting for Osvaldo Jamar. It's not going to be an improvement, actually. P3 remains for Ondrejek. Squish 2017 now, also on a lap going through Sector 1. As here we go, got a couple of news from the Alpine pit wall. Iwatts has decided to come out of the pit lane now, with about 5 minutes to go. Here we go then, Squidge round the final corner. Sorry I've been a bit quiet. It's a hard one to do commentary on when it's we're not really into the dying embers yet. And Hungary is a really hard track to do commentary on, regardless really. Just about a tenth slower than any DSC on that attempt. Nazi 31 has been overtaken by a BT by 200ths of a second. Which is gonna sting a little bit if you're Nazi, so you're gonna go again, and you're gonna beat your teammate, and you're gonna solidify your place in that top 10. Right now, Wigan JV8, Darren, Samo, and Iwatts are all gonna be eliminated from qualifying. I believe Iwatts isn't too far off, actually setting his first time of the sessions, leaving it awfully late in my opinion, Iwatts. Especially Samo Bamo as well. And now I know why. So what we're gonna do is, I thought I already gave him an invite, but maybe I didn't get that. But I cannot find him, because I don't believe Sam Obama's in the lobby. Iwatts put in a decent lap for P12, but is not going to be good enough. Needs to improve by another couple of tenths of a second. Wigan now the driver at risk. Nasi was able to jump into the top 3 with that result. With Ondra currently sitting in P5 on 28.121. I think it's very safe with that time. But so if we're hunting more, Djokovic, quickest out of anyone at the moment, followed by Matty and Nasi. So the roles have switched. Matty quickest in Q1, Djokovic at the moment quickest in Q2. Which is fitting, because it's 1-1 heading into Q3 then, and whoever quickest in Q3 gets it. I like that logic. I really, really do like it. And at the moment, those two are in a qualifying class of their own. Ondrejek is on an outlap here. He might change that, but As things stand, my money's on Djokovic or Matti. Now watch Undercheck provide an absolute belter. Beatty's retired from session in the pits. Opting he's safe. It'd be quite ironic if he's not. But I reckon he is, because Padrang has just invalidated that lap. Oh, it's a bit clumsy from Pat, that. Especially when he has the chance to knock someone else out of qualifying here and get himself out of it. He's gonna have to go again, but the question is, does he have the time? He has the time. Does he have the battery and fuel? The battery, yes. The fuel, uncertain. Only he'll know that. Wigan 71 is trying to improve as well, heading into Sector 2. And gets his lap invalidated, and that is probably the end of the session for Wigan. 25 seconds is not enough time to get around the track from there. Darren is not going to be able to get a run in either, potentially. He's going to be very close if he can, but I think it's going to be a bit too close. He's got 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... And Darren misses out by about a second. Still in P9 though. Padrang was able to get one more go at this. Hybrid is able to get one more go at this. Iwat, one more go. And Jay, one more go. And Iwat is going to finish up his first. What is it going to be? Through the last corner, understeering a little bit, not quite hitting the apex. Taking a late apex there is Iwatts actually. And now onto the line, stays 13 fastest, can't improve. Good news for Wigan. Hybrid and Padrang then. Padrang at the moment doesn't look like he's improving. Is Hybrid going to be able to improve and knock Wigan out of qualifying? Undercheck has gone fastest out of anyone by 2 tenths. Once again, track conditions are improving. Keep that in mind. Undercheck takes P1 away from Djokovic, who's out on track. Here we go then. Hybrid, is he going to be able to knock Wigan out? No, he can't. Wigan safely through into Q3, along with Darren Style, Beatty, Nolark, Squidge, Danny, Nasi, Matti, Djokovic, and Undercheck. Djokovic heading into the pit lane this lap then. Didn't fancy going for it fully on this attempt. So then, Undercheck putting on a really nice pace display there. Nasi also showing a couple of glimpses, crucial for his championship, especially around this place. Sorry, Samo, I saw that comment a bit late. I was in the couch doing commentary. I'm really sorry. I will get you an invite after Q3 so you could join the race. See if that can work. Please just send a confirmation to me in chat that you've seen this. Vasco Lopez, hello Meki, how you doing? Hope you're doing good. Welcome back to NEF1. And Patrang saying there, P12 to P10, less than a tenth of a second, and I can confirm it was very, very close there, but still quite a big gap from P1 to P10. Undercheck, Djokovic, and Matti, your top 3 heading into Q3 then. This is going to be an interesting one. This is going to be a really interesting one. See what the drag conditions are like as we jump into Q3. It is going to be rain in Q3 as well. Interesting. But before we get this qualifying session properly going, we're going to have a little look at the thing I like to call the Drivers' Championship as well, if we can get that up on screen. There we go. Djokovic's at the moment leading it on 134 points versus Nasi 118 and Matic 103. So it's good points for all the championship leaders. Squidge and Spenklos maybe a bit too far out, and sorry, maybe a bit too far out to be able to get him for the Drivers' Championship. Maybe the Constructors, who knows. But Djokovic, Nasi and Matti at the moment doing the job for their respective teams. As for the Constructors' Championship, we'll bring that up as well, see how it looks. And it is still very close between especially McLaren and Ferrari, with both Williams and AlphaTauri locked into a close battle with each other. Then we have a good battle for P6 as well, which is Red Bull, Mercedes and Aston Martin. Haas and Alfa Romeo tied on points. Spattering saying the race is going to be super spicy. Yes, it is. I am very much agreeing with you. Here we go then. Cars are coming out on track. We're about a minute into Q3 already. It's going by quickly here. And this is going to be an interesting one indeed. 12 minutes to decide who's on pole position for the Hungarian Grand Prix. One of the tracks where pole position is going to be most crucial. It's possible to overtake around here, but it can be incredibly difficult depending on where you are on track and how close you can get. Not really a place which promotes the old dive bomb, maybe into turn 1. But you kind of need to be alongside anyway to really think about a move into the braking zone there. It's hard to overtake. A lot of battery is going to be used up on the main straight, especially in the fence. So the Nolarks and Matty have started their flying laps. Matty MC then heading into the first corner. Candidate for pole position, Matty just gets a little bit loose coming out of turn 1, but it looks rapid on the run down through turn 2 and into turn 3, sweeping left-hander before the slight right-handed kink of turn 4, which is so awkward. You would love to live without it. And then this incredibly fast left-hander. I've never taken this corner in the wet, actually. It's annoying in the dry, and then don't touch the curb on the inside. It can auto-spin you before you go through the sweeping right-hander and then heading into the chicane. And everyone heading straight out. Everyone then is out on track. See if we can get the lap data up as well, would be beneficial. There we go, finally. So here we go then. Matty MC is going to be first across the line. No, he's not actually. There's going to be both McLaren crossing the line first. No, sorry, there's going to be one car crossing the line first. That's actually his teammate, who's been invisible on the minimap. 129.019 for Nolarks. Full second quicker than is Matty MC. Squidge 28.490. Now, Danny doesn't quite match Matty. Undercheck beats Matty by 0.3 of a second. Djokovic is about to cross the line now, then what's he going to be able to do in the Ferrari? Go second fastest, but not quite close enough to Undercheck to match him for provisional pole. Nasi 31 hasn't shown that blistering pace this qualifying session, but is he going to be able to find his mojo again and challenge? The answer to that is no. Then we have a BT who every now and again can really pop up with a good lap in qualifying. Here we go, then a little bit of a late apex through the last corner for ABT. But it's going to be a decent time, 27.939, good enough for P4, ahead of his teammate, just behind Matty MC. Matty, who has now gone fastest, 27.409. Might that have been the second lap that's required of those tyres to really get them into an operating window? See if anyone else is going for the same strategy. I reckon Beatty might, now that he's seen that. Second straight lap from Matty Van sees him up into provisional pole position, and by a margin as well. 2.5 tenths of a second. 0.25 worth of a second. Nassi up in P3 then, 27.852. So, doing 2 laps on these tyres, seemingly working quite well. Might Danny be going for something similar here? So here we go, Danny's improving, and he's improving by quite a big margin as well. So then, this is telling everyone, maybe for the second stint, go out for two separate laps, or 2 combined laps maybe. Matty doing 2 laps straight after each other. The tyres will have just gone warmer and warmer. Danny goes up into P2 ahead of Undercheck, 27.533 now. That really works, going on 2 laps on the same set of tyres. The question is, how much intermediate tyre do they have left? Wiggin here is improving as well, currently sitting in P8. And where's it going to be able to place the Red Bull? Sadly nowhere higher than P8. Does improve a little bit past his teammate though. So we go, no Larks on an invalidated lap actually. Nassi is out on a flying lap, just thought it is. So here we go then, purple first sector, brilliant from Nassi. That is a personal best, not a session best according to this game. I've done some reading. So purple sector doesn't mean it's quickest out of anyone, it means it's your quickest. For some reason, I don't quite know why. As here we go then, round the penultimate corner with Nassi 31 for the first of his 2 runs. Undercheck and Matty both on outlaps. Danny in the pits. Djokovic is already out there. Nassi is going to be able to improve, yes, by just a slight margin, and now I think he's going to go for it again. So Nassi's delivered decent in this qualifying session so far. At the moment, Nassi has a massive advantage in the championship as well if things stay the way they are. Remember, hard to overtake around this place, and Undercheck is going to be very hard to overtake with his race pace from last week. If that does carry over, Matty, Danny, also very rapid drivers. Nassi Djokovic needs to get a hurry on here in maybe one of the most important qualifying sessions of the season. Maybe subpar only to Monaco. Here we go then. Djokovic is going to improve up to P1 provisionally by 2 tenths of a second. 27.218 for the championship leader and the reigning, defending NEF1 champion, Djokovic. go, and Matty on a lap as well, along with Ondricek. Ondricek, who's not quite as far along his lap as Matty is. They're almost on the same piece of track, unfortunately. As Matty does have a little bit of traffic out of him. It's a McLaren and a Ferrari. They'll be very much aware that he's coming by. As Nasi's retired from this session in the pit lane by the look of things, doesn't think he's gonna be wasn't able to get out there actually. And yeah, P6 is the best that Nasi can do here. He can still fall down a little bit. Matty now is going to be able to get one more lap in after this as well, crucially enough for him with those tyres. Here we go then. Matty, is he going to be able to reclaim provisional pole position as he had just a while ago? No, fails to improve. What is Ondricek going to be able to do on this lap? Nothing. He's invalidated. Djokovic on his second run then. Matty's just starting his second run. This is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a really, really tough one. A BT in this fight as well. Currently sitting in P3. Just a couple of attempts behind Djokovic. Just a couple of hundreds behind Matty MC. Squidge is stuck in the gravel as well. Can't get moving. That's his qualifying over and done with. It's a yellow flag. And is that going to affect Matty MC? Maybe. And that is Squidge out of this session. Can't get out of the gravel trap. And that is his lap time gone as well. He'll be starting in P10. And that is heartbreak for Squidge. But such is sadly the rules for everyone. Djokovic has invalidated his lap. Won't be able to get another time in. Matty, how interrupted was he by Squidge off track there? We'll see. Matty, is he going to be able to put in a bid for pole position here? He's got to hurry it to the line now. I think he might just have missed out on it. Yes, he did. Now, ABT and Ondricek. Ondricek looking like he's going to improve. But was he bothered as well by the traffic in Sector 2? No, he was not. Takes P1 away from Djokovic. And in quite a way as well. 4/10 of a second and no one's going to be able to match that. That is pole position on the last thing that's going to happen in this qualifying session for Ondricek 51, who takes it away from Djokovic, Matty, and a BT. Danny in P5, followed by Nasi in P6. Wigan, Nolarks, Darren, P789, and Squidge should have been higher up in this session, but just got a bit greedy on the throttle perhaps, and ended up in a gravel trap. He'll be starting in P10. There then, that is a big qualifying margin between Ondricek and Djokovic. Ondricek crucially now has clear track ahead of him heading into the Grand Prix. That is going to be ever so crucial. Djokovic, Matty in P2 and P3, followed by BT, Danny, Nasi, Wigan, Nolarks, Style, and Squidge. Unfortunate for Squidge there, losing the rear late on in the session. That is a shame. Sorry, Padarang, didn't see the invitation to have a co-commentator with me until now. Very sorry about that. Very sorry about that. But then we're going to be going to a little bit of a break, and I need to rest my voice before we get this Grand Prix underway. We got 35 laps of Hungarian Grand Prix racing coming up. I am going to go have myself a glass of water. I suggest you do the same. The Hungarian Grand Prix will be on in a couple of minutes' time. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with you. Okay, then, the ready up has been given. We will be getting going here in just a couple of moments' time for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and this is going to be a really, really interesting one. Going to be a race of strategy. We got 16 cars on the grid for this one, 15 qualifying for points at the moment. I don't think Samo is going to take this start. It's a bit... Never mind. I was hoping we were going to be able to get him back into the lobby. It doesn't seem so. Ondrzejczyk then takes P1 away from Djokovic right at the end of the session. Takes P1 here. Very crucially, Djokovic, though, is going to have the inside, I believe, heading into the fast corner. If you can get a good run on him, Djokovic might be able to snatch the lead away into turn 1. Matti and ABT line up alongside each other for the first time this season, if I'm not mistaken, followed by Danny and Nasi. Those two have found each other a couple of times over the last couple of weeks. Wigan and No Larks, those two switched teams just a couple of races ago on the 4th row of the grid. Is that the 4th row of the grid? Yeah, it is. Followed by Darren Style and Squidge on the 5th row. Two teammates, Hybrid and Padarang on the 6th row. Followed by iWatts and JV8. Then we have Sam Obama and Trifix, who didn't make it past Q1, unfortunately. He is maybe going to be a bit rusty around this track now after not having too much practice over the last hour, but it is a completely different scenario now. Now we're going to see who was running a full wet setup for the qualifying session as well, or who has adapted it for the Grand Prix. This is one where you can get away with running a really, really high downforce setup. I would assume somewhere around 40-45 wings. Not quite Monaco 50 wings, but relatively close. So I would ask the Haas car of JVA to please close the gap to iWatts a little bit, and then Trifix maybe just go past Sam Obama and line up on the grid. So here we go, then everyone is lining up on the grid for the start of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Here we go then, the lights are coming on, it's a quick start this. Ondrzejczyk is going to take pole position from Djokovic, and once again the cars are still a bit stationary. Here we go then, Djokovic gets away well, so does Ondrzejczyk. Matti gets away well, and he gets a nice little toe heading into turn 1. Djokovic has the inside, and is he going to be able to outbrake Ondrzejczyk into turn 1? No, but he sticks a nose in there. But Ondrzejczyk on that soft tire was able to get away nicely. Matti now might have a look on Djokovic heading into turn 3. No, it's order as usual, and I have done absolutely nothing that I should have done in the formation lap. There we go. Darren and iWatts, not the best of starts for those two, especially Darren down 6 positions, up 4 positions for Padarang. Is that a really good one? As for the top 3, the order remains unchanged, but Nasi's made 2 positions up in the first lap. Beatty's lost 2, those two switched places. Wigan holding station in P7 at the moment. But a very, very good start there from Ondrzejczyk, doing everything he had to and a bit more in order to maintain that P1. But Djokovic is staying with him at the moment. DRS will be enabled in 2 laps time instead of next lap, which is going to be the case on F1 24. When that game comes out, DRS will be enabled on the first lap, even in the league race as well. So that is going to change the dynamic of everything. And I reckon we're going to have DRS trains throughout the field. That I'm sure no one's looking forward to, so we might actually have to look into that. I wish you could turn DRS off, if there could be a feature like that. Or edit when it could actually be used. That would be quite interesting. Say it can be used within 2 seconds, but not before lap 5, or something like that. I don't know, just be fun to play around with, really. Ondrzejczyk then, fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. Djokovic in P2, Matti P3. Still, Hybrid becomes the first retiree of the session, coming out of turn 1 through turn 2. Crashes out, and we got a virtual safety car. Is it going to be upgraded into a full safety car? Car has already been cleared. I think we're going to make do with a virtual here. early on, but Hybrid is out early of this race, down 5 positions already. That is unfortunate for Hybrid, a man who's had a really good start to the season. Now, over the last couple of races, not been as good for Hybrid 472K, maybe just lacking a little bit of confidence, but it's going to be a very different track next week out. It's going to be much bigger, much wider, much faster in Australia. This is going to be a good chance for Ondřejček to maybe just break away from Djokovic a little bit. It's also going to be a good opportunity for Djokovic, if he can ace this restart, to get even closer to Ondřejček. Maybe start pushing for an overtake. Keep in mind, this virtual safety car is not going to affect when the DRS opens, which is crucial for Djokovic and Matti. They want to get that as soon as possible. And look at how close Djokovic is to Ondřejček. Here we go. I believe they're speeding up to full racing speed. DRS has been enabled. And now Djokovic is very close to the back of Ondřejček. Nailed the safety car, or the virtual safety car restart. And now DRS has been enabled by race control. And now we're going to start seeing movement up and down the field, as Noah Larks is going very close to the back of Squidge 2017. Friends outside of racing, but friends outside of racing, friends within the league outside of racing should be said, but bitter rivals on track this season almost. Squidge at the moment taking quite a fair few more points than No Larks, but they seem to find each other on track quite a bit so far. Squidge at the moment as well in a little bit of a lack of form. See if we can just regain that. Wigan at the moment slowly starting to find that form that he was lacking during the early parts of the season. This is a very tough field this season though, especially with the addition of Ondřejček last week out. Here we go then, DRS has been enabled on this lap, and now let's see if Djokovic can start challenging Ondřejček. Maybe heading into turn 1 then. He's getting close. Is he going to be able to pull one into the braking zone? No, a BT on the mediums, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. That is on a sort of medium tires. To be fair, that might well be because he got the most amount of straight. On that restart lap. We'll find out in a moment's time, I'm sure. Ondřejček, Djokovic and Matti all running within a couple of car lengths of each other. Less than a second separate the three. Djokovic at the moment can't really afford to drop any points, especially to Nasty, but not preferably to Matti either. Ondřejček then would be a better bet. But obviously Djokovic, he'll want to be going for this victory. Only on lap 4 out of 35. It's going to be a long one, this. Settle back, it's going to be a race of strategy. If you're here for brilliant side-by-side action, Hungary usually not the track for it. Here we go, Vendo. Djokovic, as I say that, is going to go side by side with Ondřejček through turn 1. And he's going to take P1 away here on lap 5. Ondřejček might be able to come back at him, though. Side by side, maybe through turn 3. Ondřejček has to yield, though. Djokovic takes P1 away on lap 5. And now that almost left Ondřejček vulnerable to Matti here running into turn 5. But not quite. Djokovic then in the lead of the Grand Prix from Ondřejček, and now Matti. Djokovic is going to be enjoying having that car between them both. Nasty at the moment in P4 as well. Beatty showing good pace in P6. He's right behind. He's a couple attempts behind Danny DC at the moment. So Ondřejček's car was absolutely brilliant in qualifying. Is that maybe indicative of a lack of straight line speed? Yes, it is, because Matty is eating up that gap. He's eating up the gap. He's using a little bit of battery, not too much by the look of things. This could be a problem for Undercheck. He might not have the straight line speed to compete with these two. And that is going to be a massive issue, unless he's in the lead of this Grand Prix and can control it outside the DRS distance. Undercheck is going to struggle. He needs to think of something strategically in order to make this this setup works, because he can't outrace these two. I think it's getting blatantly obvious. Djokovic gained a lot of time on that main straight on him, and now did Matty as well, even though Undercheck had the DRS on Djokovic. Matty will have realized that, and he's going to do absolutely everything he can in order to push ahead. The question is, though, how hard is Undercheck going to fight that one? How close can Matty get in this final sector? Ooh. Well, he won't be doing himself any favors with that kind of a behavior. The question is, has he lost the DRS now? Yes, he has. And now, is Undercheck maybe going to try a little move on Djokovic? No, doesn't get close enough. But Matty just getting a bit too trigger happy, I reckon, coming out of the penultimate corner there. And that could have cost him a lot. Matty very good in those types of situations, but every now and again, surely the car just goes from you. But just managing to hold on to that one. Very, very close, though. Christina the Gamer as well, if the stream does seem a bit laggy, just try turning down the quality just that little bit. I'm having something going on with my internet at the moment, so I don't know if it's on me. But try just setting the quality from 1080 maybe down to 720 or 480 and just see what happens. See if anything changes. Glad to have you with us once again, as well. I'm glad to see you cheering on Matty MC. Your boy almost spun at this very corner just one lap ago, if you missed that. But let's see now. He is eating back the gap to Undercheck and Djokovic. Djokovic is pulling away just that little bit. Seemingly at the moment rather comfortable ahead of Undercheck. But then it's turning into the Hungarian Grand Prix that maybe we were expecting a little bit. Not a lot going on outside the battle for the top points paying positions. But Hungary is one of those tracks as well. It's a race of attrition. If you run a good race here, just run consistent lap times, you're gonna get decent points. At the moment, that's what everyone's aiming for. JV8 and P11 at the moment running a good race, actually. As Nasi's doing everything he can to just get a bit closer to Matty MC, and he's done enough to get within DRS distance. As now Undercheck much closer to Djokovic on this occasion than he was last time, and Djokovic realized that. He goes defensive straight away. Undercheck just staying patient at the moment, letting Djokovic defend for nothing. Undercheck at the moment, seemingly maybe playing a bit of a game with Djokovic here, trying to break him down long term. We'll see how it ensues, but he's getting closer and closer every single lap. The question is, how long before these soft tyres go soft? Djokovic might do well to pit just a lap ahead of Ondřej. Make sure Ondřej doesn't get an undercut on him. Here we go then, closer than it has been before, 2.5 tenths, as Ondřej is going to be made to go the long way round Djokovic at turn 1. Djokovic defends the inside, Ondřej has the outside. What is going to happen into turn 3? Is it going to be Ondřej or Djokovic? Is going to be Ondřej. Retakes the lead on lap 10 out of 35 here and emerges in the lead coming out of turn 3. Djokovic very close to him through the hill then, but you can't really pull a move into there unless anyone messes up. Djokovic just runs a bit too close to Ondřej and that causes him to mess up. Squidge now getting a bit closer to Wigan 71, heading into the chicane. One of the weirdest chicanes in F1 really, massive curbs that you have to tackle, but then there's this stupid race sausage curb on the very inside of it that'll absolutely launch your car into space if you touch it. It's absolutely lethal. But then again, this entire track was lethal just a couple of seasons ago. Here we go then, Squidge versus Wigan. Squidge maybe the inside for turn 1. And I guess that move down. Wigan not going to be able to defend it overly hard. And that is job done for Squidge 2017. And Djokovic now sitting behind Ondřej for a little bit of time. Matty at the moment 1.5 behind these two. Padarang, first honest of the day with a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limits and fractions. Very easy to get one of those around the track like this. Very open, very fast, very flowing. So we go with Djokovic still maintaining a decent gap to Ondřej, but it's not really coming down at the moment. Matty 1.6 behind. He's not able to close the gap to... he's not able to close down the gap to Djokovic a massive amount either. Nassi though is very much sticking to the back of Matty. Squidge was able to get past Wigan a couple of laps ago, but no real progress since then. 1.7 behind Matty, and Djokovic has now pushed himself into a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limits and fractions. And Ondřej is going to be saying thank you very much for that, as he almost gets out of DRS. And that has turned this race on its head and into the massive advantage of Ondřej. So now it's a little bit of a train actually. Matty, Nassi, a BT, Danny 5.2 behind, however, not really having the pace to hang with the absolute top guys at the moment. We're still waiting for the first round of pit stops. Once that happened, that is going to change things. I thought that would have happened already, but seemingly not. Spen close in chat as well, cheering on his teammate Squidge, currently P7 for Williams, scoring a couple of points there, 6 in total. But the red Ferrari of Danny DC ahead is getting bigger and bigger. Let's see if we can core this this race's loneliest man. I have a feeling it might be. Yeah, it definitely is iWatts actually. It's got 24 seconds down to Terrific. Samo is racing in AI and has been for the entire race, so his race is not going to count. So up to Darren, iWatts has well over 22 seconds. So iWatts is running the loneliest race imaginable at the moment. Also, unfortunately for him, running in P14. Had he been running this race in P5, I'm sure he wouldn't mind one bit. But right now, I assume he's going to get a little bored of this predicament. Ondrejek, Djokovic, Matti, ABT, and Nasi is your top 5 at the moment. Danny just outside the top 5 in P6. iWatts, fastest lap at the Grand Prix so far. That is worth a championship point, even if you're outside the top 10 in this league. So always worth slapping on a new set of tires, especially towards the end, and trying to go for that. Here we go, pit stop phase has started. Matti, Nasi, and Squidge being the first ones to come in. Medium tires going on, I would imagine those will carry them to the end. Anything else seems a little bit weird. So the battle for the lead ongoing at the moment between Djokovic and Ondrejek. Not really a lead for the battle, or battle for the lead at the moment. It is just, can you call it a challenge for the lead? Djokovic just reminding Ondrejek every single lap that he's there, but he's not able to do anything. Here comes the round of pit stops. Oh, as Djokovic closes in under the braking. Crucial for Ondrejek to get a good pit stop, and he did. Second Ferrari, Danny DC, decent pit stop for him as well. Medium tires going on. I have a feeling everyone's going to be going the same strategy. Mattis undercut Ondrejek. Matti has de facto taken the lead of this Grand Prix. Now, there is a certain driver called No Larks in play here, who is yet to pit. They are going to be talking to each other, I'm quite certain. And now, see if No Larks can let Matti go here in a couple of laps time and just hold Ondrejek back a little bit. See if Matti can perhaps take this win with some brilliant teammate play here. No Larks, I believe, started on the mediums. This is going to be interesting. Let's go. Matti's quite rapidly catching the back of his teammate now. Remember, ABT and Wigan yet to pit. Danny, freezing time penalty for multiple track limit violations. This just got really interesting, actually. I did not believe the undercut would be so effective that Matti was going to be able to undercut Ondrzejczyk. Here we go then. Was that perhaps the wrong time to switch them around though? No Larks with no DRS. Gonna need Matti's help really to defend from Ondrzejczyk here. Ondrzejczyk round the outside, needs to get past quickly. Ondrzejczyk is gonna make his car as wide as possible now. Nola's gonna make his car as wide as possible to try to keep Ondrzejczyk behind, but he can't really. He almost comes back at him. Ondrzejczyk loses a bit of time, but I think the AlphaTauri boys just messed that one up a little by artificially making it happen a bit too early. And that is No Larks down quite a couple of positions in one go. So I think what that should have really done was get Matti out of the DRS zone. It's not done that, and now the battle is on Matti and Ondrzejczyk. Beat is out in front at the moment, just doing laps, just happy to be in the lead of this race, but he has still got to make a pit stop. "17 lap-old mediums versus 3 lap-old mediums for Matti MC. Ondrzejczyk is getting closer. And just look at how much those new medium tires is worth. No Larks has fallen a massive amount behind. 4.5 seconds to Djokovic in one lap. It's an insane amount. Matti, what are you going to do now? Do you pick a straight battle with Ondrzejczyk that's going to be lasting for at least 15 laps? Or do you try to maybe back Ondrzejczyk into the opposition behind just that little bit? Anything is possible. And what a battle this is. Matti, Ondrzejczyk, Nasi and Djokovic for what is de facto P1. Djokovic with a time penalty, but is at the back of this train. But he is also the one leading the championship. Beatty at the moment losing quite a bit of time staying out on that medium tire. But then it is nice to see that kind of strategic element come into play here in NEF1 a bit more. We saw it in France between the two Williams. We've seen it now a couple of times between Matti and No Larks. Not executed really well though. But it is attempted to just do a couple of plays here and there in order to try to secure high positions for the team, which I really like seeing actually. and it's an interesting one. Lap 20 out of 35. Still a long way to go. We're just now past half distance, actually. So it's a long race, this. But Matty at the moment in the lead of it, you could say. BT technically in the lead of the Grand Prix, but he has to stop again with a 6.6 second advantage and dropping. Ooh, as Nasi's closing in a lot on undercheck and the braking there. The question is how good at braking does Nasi think he is? He's maybe going to be able to send one down the inside of undercheck a little bit. Nasi will want to have at Matty as well, just to protect his own championship a bit. Remember, if Undercheck were to win this Grand Prix, that's a lot of points he's accumulated over the course of the first two races. And that is going to see him, because as soon as the seat opens up, he will be put on the official calendar, or the official graphics. And then all the points he scored will show up there. Here we go then, Undercheck versus Matty. Undercheck to the inside of Matty MC. Matty's good at defending the outside, but how good at defending the outside is he? He takes quite a wide line there. But it takes a while for them to emerge, but Matty emerges in P1. Undercheck made a move, but Matty was able to defend it beautifully. And that's invited Nasi and very much Djokovic into the party. This has really been a race between the leaders at the moment. Nothing else really going on this race. It's been a massive battle for the lead all the way through. It's been battling. It's been DRS. There's been a threat of something going on every single lap within this top four. But other than that, it's been calm. No incidents by the look of things, no crashes, not too many DNFs apart from hybrids on that opening lap. Here we go, an undercheck on Matty once again. It's not going to be able to make it work this time. Not really going to try by the look of things either. Nasi is behind undercheck, doing everything he can to get past, but just can't get close enough. As there we go, JV8 has retired from this race. That I completely missed. I would imagine terminal damage. No yellow flags, no virtual safety cars, and no safety cars though. That's a bit of a weird one. I'm sorry if I missed that, if it just happened earlier. I was fully focused on this battle at the front. Matty, Undercheck, Nasi, and Djokovic. Djokovic is now actually falling behind on track a little bit as well. Keep in mind he has the penalty, so it's looking tough for Djokovic to come away with anything brilliant here. Matty and Undercheck at the moment. This could be a battle that could go down to the final lap. At the moment, Matty's doing everything he needs to just hold on to this win. About 10 laps remaining, 11 laps if you're precise. But Undercheck might well be charging up for one proper go here. Wait and see. He's not going close on these last attempts. Now, is he just preparing for a full-on assault over 1 or 2 laps on Matty MC? If he does, that'd be incredibly clever. And it's a type of attack that's very hard to defend against. But if you can do it in any circuit, it's this one. We have an Alpine in the pits. That would be iWatts, I'm sure. Here we go, an undercheck versus Matty round about 15 at this point, feels like. Even though it's only probably round 5. Never really turns into a battle. I see Beatty has now actually been able to make it past Danny, and Beatty, don't count him out as a player here. He is fast emerging on a set of softs. Do not count a Beatty out for a podium, maybe even this win. Because he is flying at the moment. The gap is 6.3 at the moment. Let's keep an eye on that gap. Undercheck is getting closer. Is it now that the assault is going to come? Matty might have to watch his rear now because Undercheck is he's preparing, but it's just hanging back a little bit. Still it looks like, but he's getting very close in the braking. And now Undercheck is getting Matty in a position where he's starting to go just that bit defensive, which is a dangerous thing to do. Yeah, a BT is catching at a massive rate at the moment. He is going to be involved in this battle in a couple of laps. As long as that soft tire doesn't fall off a cliff, BT will be involved in this. Nazi 31 then is chasing these both as well. Undercheck at the moment, still just hanging back on Matty MC a little bit. But he is being very patient, Undercheck. He's not leaving himself with too much margin to get this done. Or maybe is he just waiting to get this done on the last couple of laps and not really allow Matty a chance to fight back. Is ruthless tactics if that's the case, but incredibly clever still. I absolutely love watching Undercheck race. He races so smart. Ever since he's come back to NEF1 now, he races with incredible thinking. Saw it last week out in Italy, you can see it now once again here in Hungary. There's a thought behind everything he does, and you can really see that thought. Especially at least when you're on commentary. Blue flags for someone, I can't quite tell who, but Undercheck is now getting very close to Matty. Matty at this stage, I don't think would mind a safety car just to kind of be able to have a breather. Because he's gonna be getting tired of looking over his shoulder quite soon. Here we go, now, is the assault gonna come? Maybe. Deployment is on for Undercheck. He's getting closer to Matty. Oh, a little bit maybe of a late move from Matty, but a bit dodgy anyway. Undercheck decides to pull out of it. Matty maintains the lead of the Grand Prix. I think there was a sole miscommunication almost, because it is a level of communication between the drivers as well. Between Matty and Ondrzejczyk of which way Ondrzejczyk was actually going to go. I think Matty decided, okay, Ondrzejczyk is going to the inside, so I'm going to go back to my outside racing line. At that point, Ondrzejczyk decided there's more space on the outside and I want that line. They both moved back almost at the same time. So it's a bit of a weird one, that. Yellow flags in Sector 2, I believe, is a Haas just letting someone go. The BT is now very close to getting involved here. Lap 29 out of 35, it's drawing to a close. Matty at the moment doing everything he can and has to keep Ondrzejczyk behind him, but we are running out of laps. And Ondrzejczyk is just getting closer and closer. It's hard to overtake here, otherwise this would have been done quite a while ago. Matty undercut these two in the pit stop phase about lap 20. 9 laps later, he's able to maintain the lead, lap 15. 14 laps later, he's able to maintain this lead, but it's been constant battle with Ondrzejczyk. Now, 5 laps to go. Ondrzejczyk, is another attack coming? Yes, it is. Getting closer, inside, outside. What way is he going to go? Matty stays on the outside. Ondrzejczyk takes the inside. He's going to take the lead of the race. Matty tries to hold the outside, but he can't. And now Ondrzejczyk has the lead of the Grand Prix. Matty maybe just let that one go a bit too easy. Ondrzejczyk retakes the lead here on lap 30 out of 35. Matty, though. Oh, it's a tough one, but I think Matty could have just done a bit more to defend it. But keep in mind now, he's going to have to defend from Nasi and maybe potentially a Beatty as well. A Beatty's going to do everything he can as well. Maybe to hold Matty up if he does end up getting past, because Beatty's now past Djokovic. That soft tire is working now. Nasi, is he going to give a Beatty a hard time? And then is Matty going to give Beatty a hard time? Maybe hoping for him and Ondrzejczyk to potentially come together. It's a complex situation. That soft tire definitely working in Beatty's favor at the moment. Can't be disputed. Ondrzejczyk doing everything he can at the moment to stay away from Matt TMC. As there we go, a Beatty has gotten past Nasi. Did Nasi just get a little bit of a bad exit, or did they switch? A Beatty free to chase after Matty. And what a season a Beatty's having at the moment. We've not talked about this. Obviously, I love roasting Beatty. I have done for several seasons. But credit where credit is due. He had a brilliant drive last season, sadly, that I didn't see in Singapore. I was ill out of my mind. But this season, he didn't start it brilliantly. but he's slowly started to pick up the pace now, and he's putting in result after result after result, and he might be able to make a move on Matty here. Not quite. But Beatty's now turning into a consistent top runner, and if he can keep this pace up, the championship battle might be a bit far gone, sadly, with the start that he had. But he is starting to look like the ABT of old again, and we love to see it, really, because ABT is a treat to watch when he can do drives like this. Just coming through the field on an alternate strategy, it is really working for him at the moment. You can see the pressure that he's putting on Matty MC at the moment. It's absolutely splendid to watch. Three attempts is the gap between ABT and Matty now. With 3 laps to go as well. Does Matty focus on what is Matty's priority now? Get past Undercheck on my own, maybe have a chance at this win, maybe try to force Undercheck into some sort of error. Or do I let BT go and attempt to throw those two together? He might not actually have a say in the matter because Beat is incredibly close to the AlphaTauri. On that soft tire, he's going to be able to brake a bit later. Are we going to see a lunge from a BT here? Oh, if he wanted to, he could have. Matty opens the door for him, though, as the two make contact. And obviously, there's quite a bit of respect between those two. But that is going to allow Nassi maybe down the inside of Matty as the two make contact yet again. Nassi slinks through there. Oh, that is going to be Matty fuming with that move. Someone's going to have to back out of this one. Going to have to be Matty. And with that slight bit of contact, they're still side by side actually. Great battle this between between BT and Matty. But Matty losing out 2 places there. Nassi's back up at the P2, but that, I believe, has given Undercheck the little gap that he needed to probably cement this victory. 2 seconds is now the gap. I can't see anyone eating that advantage up over the course of the next 2 laps. ABT and Matty just coming together slightly there, coming out of turn 1, and that caused Nassi to seize the opportunity and go straight up into P2. Crucially for him as well, Matt is going to be gaining a bit on Djokovic, not too much, but Djokovic is going to be losing out quite a couple of points here to Nassi. And this could be huge for the championship. Could be massive for the championship this race. We'll have to wait and see where everyone lands post-race. Remember, it's not over until it's over. 1.5 laps to go here. Undercheck, Nassi, ABT, Matty, and Djokovic. I'll tell you what, this race could prove disastrous for Ferrari in the constructors' standings as well. Squidge is right behind Danny as well. Well, it doesn't matter anymore because he's picked himself up a 3-second time penalty, which took the chance of a top 6 away probably this race. Wiggins ran a quiet race so far, but a very, very good one in P8. We've not seen him once, Wiggins 71, but he's just picking up the points for Red Bull at the moment. Darren Stahl having a bit of a trickier start to the season. Obviously tonight I'd be surprised if he doesn't have a Finkston racing on his mind. Trifex has retired from this race by appearance sakes in the pit lane. Yes, he has. So here we go, Noah Larks, and I believe that might have been a lap car of Darren Style, actually. I thought it was Wigan for a moment. Then just looking at the gap, that doesn't make any sense. Here we go then, we're on the last lap of the Grand Prix for the leaders then. Ondercheck was able to seize the lead on lap 32 out of 35 again from Matty MC, and after that he's not looked back. Sorry, Fatty out of 35. Matty put up a brilliant effort. It's a shame because he's not going to get rewarded even with a podium here, even though he led a majority of this race almost. Ondracek is going to take the checkered flag for the second week in a row. Nasi takes P2, followed by Beatty with P3. Matty, that feels rude to not see him on the podium after that defensive drive that he put up. But in the end, maybe did he just give up a bit too easy? We'll never know. But that contact with Beatty certainly played a role in him ending up in P4. And I'll be surprised if that's not looked at just slightly after the race. Djokovic in P5, followed by Danny in P6. Squidge in P7 had a chance to take Danny on penalties, but didn't do so. Wigan in P8, followed by Nolarks in P9 and Padarang P10. Iwatts just outside the points in P11, followed by Samo Bamo, Darren Style in P13. Darren Style is going to be finishing P12 this race. Then Samo Bamo qualifies a non-finisher, with Terrifics JV8 and Hybrid all retiring. Motorsport can be incredibly cruel sometimes, so can esports. Matty MC is gonna be disappointed with that result. He's gonna be happy with his performance, I'm sure. But the result not matching how good of a performance that was. Must be said though, ABT, what a stunning drive from the man to come back and finish all the way up on the podium. From being a long way down at the beginning of that second stint, having an absolutely mega drive on those soft tires, being able to come back. Brilliant stuff from ABT, and brilliant stuff from McLaren, who solidified their championship challenge now. As there we go, Wondercheck for the second week in a row takes the win here in NEF1. He is followed by Nasi and a Beat with the fastest lap there on the softs as well. No one was able to beat that at the end. Tell you who got quite close to was Padarang, but just 0.02 of a second short of the extra point. Matty with P4, followed by Djokovic in P5, with Danny in P6. Double points finish for Ferrari. 18 points coming out for the Scuderia. 6 points to Williams after a solid drive from Squidge, followed by Wigan on 4 points for Red Bull. A nice result for Wigan. That needs a couple more of those. No Larks in P9, followed by Padarang in P10. Iwatts just shy of points in P11 after a decent drive still. But then, that has been it for this rendition of the Hungarian Grand Prix here in NEF1. It's been a relatively weird one, been a relatively quiet one, but a really good battle at the front for the Grand Prix. Yeah, it's been a good one still, and obviously next week we'll be going back to Australia as well for the first time in a long time. So if you haven't tuned into an Australian Grand Prix in NEF1 previously, then be sure to do so on this occasion. It's going to line up beautifully with the real-life Australian Grand Prix as well. So stay tuned for that. Until then, stay safe, have a good one, and peace out. We'll see you next time out when NEF1 returns.